Season's greetings, gastronauts. This is KeefCooks. I'm Keef, and today I'm going to do something that I've never done before, either as a video or actually as a thing in my own personal kitchen thing. I'm going to make Christmas cake. Oh yeah! I have been intending to make a Christmas cake video every Christmas since I started this channel, but I've always got completely hung up by this thing called Stir Up Sunday, which is traditionally it's 5 weeks before Christmas, and that's when you make your Christmas cake and you feed it every week with some brandy or something. So it turns out moist and boozy and wonderful, which is a great thing. But I always forget about Stir Up Sunday and I never ever do it. So I thought this year, stuff it, I'll ignore that and I'll get a lot of flack in the comments from people probably, but I don't care. So I missed it by, well, a fortnight actually. It is on my calendar up there, but I still missed it. So I'm just going to pretend that the 5-week deadline thing doesn't exist. And I hope by the end of tomorrow I will have a wonderful cake, all iced and decorated, and I can eat it straight away. Oh yeah, but it probably will be better by the time Christmas comes around. If you enjoy this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, etc. and let's get on with it. Christmas cake. Oh yeah. Bye. First thing to do is kind of macerate and soften your dried fruit. So I've got about 900 grams altogether. I've got 200 grams each of raisins, sultanas and currants, not necessarily in that order. 150 grams each of pitted dates and cranberries. The juice and zest of 1 lemon, 250 grams of unsalted butter, 200 grams of light brown demerara sugar, and 125 ml of brandy or whiskey or bourbon or whatever. Not like gin, not a white spirit. Also it's suggested if you don't want to use or you can't use alcohol, you could use tea. I need to chop these dates. I need to zest the lemon and get the juice out of it. Then we can get cooking. I'm going to melt the butter before we add the other things. Now I can add everything else, so that's the lemon juice, the currants, sultanas and raisins. And by the way, this selection of dried fruit is entirely up to you. You could also use dried figs, prunes, those other things, apricots, dried apricots, whatever you like really. Cherries. I've actually got some glacé cherries, so I'm not going to put those in the marinade. And add the dates, and the lemon zest, and the cranberries, and the brandy. I'll put that on the stove, bring it to the boil, and then let it simmer for 5 minutes. And also, don't forget the sugar. Okay, there it is. We'll just let that sit there for about half an hour to cool down and for the flavours to be absorbed by the fruit. Now we mix up the stuff for the cake batter, and there's a lot of it. So the bowl from the stand mixer, 175 grams of plain all-purpose flour, 100 grams of ground almonds, an unspecified amount, probably 50 grams of flaked almonds. They're not really flaked, they were whole ones and I've just chopped them into bits. Some candied peel if you like it. If you don't like it, don't use it. And glacé cherries. So that was a 200 gram tub, but it wasn't full, so it was maybe 100 grams of those. Half a teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, and a teaspoon of allspice, vanilla extract, and 4 eggs. So I'll just mix those together for a few minutes on the stand mixer. Now I'll mix in all of the fruit and stuff. Mix that all together until you have no pockets of flour and whatnot. Okay, there's our lovely fruity, boozy mixture Smells amazing. It smells like Christmas, actually. So now what you need to do is prepare a tin to bake it in. So the recommended size is 20 centimetres, but the one that I've got is 19. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. You need to line this with greaseproof paper or baking parchment, whatever that is. Okay, that's stuck on the bottom and a bit around the side, kinda. So now we'll spoon in the mixture. We might have too much, but I always say stuff like that, and I'm usually wrong. Would you believe it? It's all in there. So we need a cool oven, 130 degrees for a convection oven, that's a fan oven, or an air fryer oven, and that's 150 for a normal one, and that is gas 2. And we'll put that in for 2 hours initially, and then we'll test it, see if it's ready. Yeah? Okay, let's go. Okay, 2 hours is up. Let's see what we've got. Wow. I think we might have a Christmas cake, but I'll just check. Stick a skewer right in the middle. And if it comes out clean and dry, it's cooked, it's done. So that's clean and dry, that is a cooked cake. 2 hours, amazing. Anyway, I'm going to leave that to cool down in the tin, and then I'll untin it tomorrow and we'll have a go at decorating it. See you tomorrow. It is very much the next day, so here's my cake, and I'm just gonna, well, it's still in the tin, I'm just going to cut off the top, so then we will get a nice even cut, in theory. Oh, look at that. Let's have a sneaky taste. That's Christmas cake. All right, let's get it out of the tin. And I'll just flip it over onto a plate. There we go. Lovely flat top. I'm going to weigh that. That is 1.6 kilos. I'm going to coat it in marzipan and then fondant icing. So what you need to do is spread it with apricot jam, and that makes the marzipan stick. I've seen it suggested if you can't get apricot jam, you can get marmalade and boil it and then strain it so you get all the bits of peel out of it, and you can use that. Now we need to roll out the marzipan, so I've got some icing sugar on my worktop. This is 500 grams of marzipan, which I think is probably too much. I'll cut a bit off. Okay, this is pretty firm, so it's going to need some elbow grease. And the idea of the marzipan layer is that it smooths out the lumps and bumps, but also it's just sugar and almonds and sweet and lovely. I love it. Right, I think that's big enough. So roll it over your rolling pin and then unroll it over the cake. And then you want to kind of smooth it and, you know, get rid of any creases and wrinkles. It's a bit like putting pastry inside a pie dish, but in reverse. Now, you are supposed to leave that for 24 hours for the marzipan to dry out a little bit. I haven't got 24 hours, so I'm going to put it in the warming oven for about half an hour, and that's 60 degrees Celsius. Right, now I've got some fondant icing. It's actually left over from last time I did something with fondant icing. I can't remember what it was. Probably a cake. I'm just going to microwave this for a few seconds because it's very hard. Well, 10 seconds and that's made quite a bit of difference. So, same old thing, icing sugar on the worktop and roll it. Okay, I think this might do it. Come back in a minute. Okay, I'm a little bit short here, but I've got a spare bit, so I'll just moisten the edge of that and stick it on. Now, I'm not going to go crazy on decoration because, well, I actually like things plain and simple, and also I'm rubbish at cake decorating. So, but I did see a nice thing online where they've kind of done this quilting effect. So I'm doing that on the side. And you just use the edge of a ruler or a palette knife, just make lines, indented lines, about an inch apart, a couple of centimetres, and then get some of these edible silver pearl ball things and stick one in the intersection of each diagonal line. Use water to make it stick. Well, I think that looks pretty sensational. I mean, okay, it looks like a quilted headboard, but what's not to like? I'm going to make some holly leaves to go on top, and regular viewers will be thrilled to know that I finally got some gloves to stop food colouring and such getting under my fingernails, because that last one I did, there was something red. I've still got traces of it, I just can't get rid of it. Anyway, some fondant icing, some 10-year-old everlasting food colouring powder, green. This stuff is very, very concentrated, so you know, a teeny bit goes a long way, but because it's powder I don't want to add any liquid to the fondant because it will well, mess it up basically. So I'll just keep kneading this until the greenness pervades the fondant icing. Could take a while. So there it is, nice bold green and getting everywhere, a green rolling pin, and you know, if ever I want to go to a fancy dress thing dressed as Shrek or Kermit the Frog, this food colouring could come in useful. So I'm not going to make any red fondant because, well, I'm going to use cranberries. They won't be edible, but they'll look fantastic. So just do your artistic sculpture thing. I know you can. Okay, so we'll just stick them on with a bit of water. They're a bit massive, aren't they? And choose some nice looking cranberries. Beautiful Christmas cake, and it didn't take 6 weeks. And now it's taste test time with me. I really don't want to cut it open because it's so pretty, and yeah. Anyway, gotta do it because I want some cake. Wow. I am impressed, even though I made it myself. And of course, you know, first time I've done a Christmas cake. And that is absolutely superb. I don't know if I've ever had a better piece of Christmas cake. Maybe it's because I made it, but well, very happy with that. So, hope you enjoyed it. Happy Christmas, and see you next time.